Data sits at the core of financial markets and transactions today. Financial products no longer take physical forms but are digital entries or electronic ledgers. Transactions are represented by movement of data from one spreadsheet to another. The impact of poor data quality and operational control could be severe, causing process disruption, exceptions, as well as clearing and settlement issues that require costly investigation and manual reprocessing. Worse, it may result in significant financial loss, reputational damage, and regulatory penalties. To tell us more about the challenges in traditional operational data management and how the latest technology can address them, we have Victoria Harverson, Group Head of Business Development at SmartStream Air, a unit of SmartStream technology. So, Victoria, tell us what are the challenges financial institutions face when it comes to operational data management today, and why is it so important to implement controls?
Well, whether you're a large multinational financial institution or a smaller SME organization, you're required to constantly validate and check a huge number of data sets for accuracy, completeness as part of your day-to-day operations. And the problem with this often is very high volumes of data coming into the organization from a large variety of external counterparties. The formats of that data are often non-standard, complex, messy data, unstructured data. This is very challenging to manage. And then there's also a lot of underlying complexity, which is always changing. And even the best tools that are pre-configured and designed to solve some of these problems in more of a predefined way, they can lack the sort of flexibility and agility needed to really get results quickly. So what you're left with in that type of operating model is a huge amount of manual spreadsheets, end-user developed application, Excel work basically. And this represents a unsustainable risk for financial services organizations. Human error is one of the big risks there with manual work. Key man dependencies, if you have individuals working on various spreadsheets and putting these models together and they leave the organization, you're stuck. And also there's no audit trail with an Excel operating model. Financial institutions cannot afford to have any number of reconciliation processes or data quality processes remain on spreadsheets. And they certainly can't submit incorrect reports to regulators. So for all of these reasons, you have to wrap a control framework around all of your data and all of the reconciliations and be ready for anything and not miss anything that's very critical. And adopting AI to control and future-proof your operation from every angle allows you to be ready for anything. We find that for capital markets firms actually in Asia, my experience is that a key focus for them is improving processing times in general. Two of the biggest challenges I think organizations face in this region in Asia when adopting AI technology across the back office is less understanding of how applicable and what the use cases are for the AI technology, and also less internal skill set in the organization to deliver it. Banks as well in Asia Pacific, I think, that are only just going digital are very much now learning to partner with organizations like SmartStream because that allows them to get the upper hand. And I think us having a presence here for the last 20 years and managing over 200 customers in the Asia Pacific region, that really allows us to be very well placed to serve this market.
It is well known that poor data quality causes trading breaks, process exceptions, as well as clearing and settlement issues. Getting to the root causes can take time and maybe even several IT projects. How can this be improved? How have you intelligently disrupted this legacy process?
We've definitely disrupted the process, firstly by way of data normalization. So in most cases, data will come into an organization from external counterparties. For a bank, sometimes that could be thousands of external counterparties. And each of these will have their own formats, their own structures and standards. And the challenge has always been taking that non-standard data, pre-formatting it, normalizing it, cleaning it up, and often shaping it to the schema of a specific tool that you would be using. What we've achieved here with the latest AI solution is the ability to ingest any data and any format and straight from the source, and this removes a considerable pre-processing and data analytics layer. In SmartStream Air, we leverage pure AI to analyze any format of the data. It creates digital AI fingerprints of the data and generates auto match rules based on how the data is likely to correlate to each other and the structures of those data sets. You can even load in multiple formats, multiple files, all at the same time. There's absolutely no constraints with this type of AI technology. You don't even need to understand the data beforehand. The AI will do that analysis, it will recognize it, it will do the mapping for you, and it gives you the ability to match any data for any reason in an instant without IT projects. The delivery model may be considered disruptive in that it's fully software as a service, cloud native applications. You can just switch it on and get to work on the same day if need be. And I think with a SaaS pricing model, total cost of ownership, because it's subscription based, is really controllable and it's very transparent for a very large enterprise or a very large organization that's used to quite complex agreements with various fintech providers. In terms of the use cases, where would this product be most useful? Automation of any transactional reconciliation, table-based spreadsheets that you need to compare, that's absolutely perfect for SmartStream Air. Being able to quickly validate regulatory reports, particularly if a third party is providing them to you, but it's still your responsibility to report to the regulator. Air can be used to rapidly check the quality of those reports. And another use case is the system migration projects and IT transformation projects, particularly in large organizations. They can be the biggest barrier to change, very costly, very expensive and time consuming. With SmartStream Air, you're able to take a very large data set. It could be an architectural data set of an old system. Compare it with that of the new system, check that everything's the same and nothing's missing. You can do that type of work in minutes, which is very compelling, and it allows organizations to accelerate their IT projects, which is so important in financial services today.
How does SmartStream's Air 2.0 transform traditional data verification and reconciliation processes? What gap does it fill?
Well, Air 2.0 feels a need to control all kinds of data, do all kinds of data quality checks in any scenario and be ready for anything. I think at the core, AI is very much about data and about scale, about being agile, flexibility to different formats, and being able to get your end result very quickly without an IT project. So we designed Air so that any user is able to log into the tool and compare data sets very quickly and get their results instantly. And the AI fully learns how data sets relate to each other and exposes any errors instantly. Now, Air 2.0 is exciting because we've enhanced it in a couple of ways. Firstly, there's the PCI DSS certification that we've just secured, which allows us to host and process credit card and card data. So that enables us to get a lot deeper into the payments segment, which is quite important to us. We have a number of payment customers and we're working with digital banks. So we've gone with the concept that we want this to behave like a consumer application, because if you're on your smartphone, you download an app and you can't use it just in the first couple of minutes, you're probably going to delete it. So we wanted the user experience to be ultra intuitive, and with SmartStream Air, absolutely no training is needed whatsoever. So the UI has been enhanced. We're really excited to announce recently the introduction of Affinity, which allows us to do observational learning, which gives Air the ability to mimic your actions. So This is really groundbreaking in that if the end user tweaks anything, the AI is going to learn from that behavior. It's going to mimic it and it will capture it, and that understanding will be there for the next time around. So this is really, really compelling. This is going to open a lot of different use cases, and it's also going to just enhance the performance of the AI, which is exciting. Air 2.0 is actually very relevant in COVID-19 pandemic times, I suppose you would call it. Market volatility, straining financial systems, staff working remotely. It's been really challenging for all of us, and we now expect much more AI adoption in Asia. Digitization is at the forefront of banks in Asia, and they are developing a greater reliance on data and analytics.
What new and latest development can we expect from the Innovation Lab?
Well, I'm so pleased to be working with the Smartstream Innovation Lab. They're a very, very talented team of people, so mathematicians, data scientists, all based out of the office in Vienna. And essentially they work with our business teams and our product teams at Smartstream, who have many decades of subject matter expertise in the industry behind them, and the product and the business team engaging with the clients all day, every day. They understand the challenges that our clients face and what their needs are, and that allows us to influence the Innovation Lab's roadmap because of customer feedback. So that's a really important thing, to allow customers to influence that roadmap. But we're investing millions of dollars in R&D in our innovation labs. The focus is on the performance of the AI and making sure it's improving over and over, particularly with problems it's never seen before. And with all of our products, we are testing the AI at ultra high volumes, and we are looking to be achieving greater rates of straight-through processing, greater efficiency, greater data quality. Whilst it's the most obvious application of AI and machine learning for Smartstream, it's certainly not one of the only solutions where we are deploying this type of technology. This year and next year, we're rolling out AI and ML components to many other operational control solutions that we have.